Hello everybody, welcome to the second part of second prescription, Homeopathy Super Sessions by Dr. Jagose. So now we go with the fifth point, that is alteration of remedies. So it may be considered in an acute case when the symptomatology alternates between two definite groups. So in an acute case, when there is a symptoms or symptoms, they alternate between two different groups. For example, symptoms of bryonia and symptoms of Rostock's in a case of acute joint complaint. So in such instances, you can, or rather you're allowed to alternate Rostock's and bryonia. If you read also the chronic diseases or the book by Richard Hughes, also in the chapter of selection of remedy, he has given the Hahnemanian reference that Dr. Hahnemann himself has told that in acute cases in which the symptoms have to be relieved fast, the relief has to be given fast to the patient because it is an acute state. So in such instances, you can repeat or rather you can alternate two seemingly similar remedies where the symptomatology alternates between two definite groups. And he has given 2-3 examples of the same. So one simple example is that of joint pains where the symptoms alternate between Rostock's and bryonia. So in such instances, in an acute case, you can alternate Rostock's and bryonia. However, it is quite different in a chronic case. In a chronic case, a single remedy capable of covering both the states have to be selected. So in a chronic case, is there again the symptomatology alternates between two different groups. So in such instances, you have to judge the patient very well, see what modalities, see what sensations are there, correctly perceive the case, and only give one single simple remedy. Okay, so this is the main difference which Dr. Hahnemann had said in acute regarding alteration of remedies. In acute cases, you can alter. In chronic cases, you cannot do alteration of remedies, but you have to take into consideration the full totality, the full constitution of the patient, and then prescribe. So if it covers only one state, then it will not cure the case. So in a chronic case, if you only cover up one state, or if you only take into consideration one state and leave out the other state, then it will not cure the patient. However, the routine administration of remedies in alteration has no justification. But Dr. Hahnemann has also said that on a routine basis, basically you cannot do alteration of remedies. It has no justification. It can only be done in cases where they are acute and not in chronic cases. So this also has to be kept in mind. Now, use of intercurrent remedies. In a chronic case, when the case gets blocked and refuses to make any further progress. So you have taken the full case, you have taken the full totality, you have prescribed the remedy, the patient improves to a certain extent. Say, for example, he improves to a percentage of 70. And after that, he doesn't improve in spite of the totality being the same, the potency also being the same, and you have also repeatedly given the same potency in repeated, or the same remedy, the same potency, and you have given multiple dose stimulation. But still, the patient does not improve. He still gets stuck at the level of 70% improvement. Then what do we do? You determine the miasmatic block through the symptomatology of the case. So therefore, you have to first exclude any other exciting cause, any other maintaining cause, or any other precipitating cause which may be present and which may be blocking the case. So you have excluded all those exciting causes, all those precipitating causes, all those maintaining causes. Then the only cause left is a miasmatic block. This miasmatic block has to be removed. So how do we identify this miasmatic block? We have to identify this miasmatic block through the family history of the patient, or in short, nothing but the fundamental miasm. And accordingly, choose a remedy which will cover up the fundamental miasm as well as the other important aspects of the case, which are characteristic in nature. So therefore, administer a suitable anti-miasmatic remedy, which is generally a nosode. So if you want to remove the block, you have to go to the family history supported by the past history, find out an anti-miasmatic medicine, which is generally a nosode, and this generally is given a nosode, as you all know, is generally given in the high potency. This will remove the miasmatic block, and then again you can repeat the constitutional medicine. So the patient has improved 70%, no further improvement is taken place. You've excluded all the other causes, and only the miasmatic cause is left, which has to be taken into consideration. So you find a nosode which covers up the symptom similarity, including not only that of the fundamental miasm, but also the remaining parts of the totality of the case. And you administer it. And then let it completely unfold its action, and then you again repeat the constitutional medicine, and then the patient will move forward. Whatever 70% it was stuck at, the patient will be cured to 100%. So this is the use of intercurrent remedies, which is generally a nosode. The use of isopathy and nosodes. So isopathy was discovered by Johann Joseph Wilhelm Lux. When the indicated homeopathic remedy fails to ameliorate the patient who is allergic to some chemical or drug, produces an allergic reaction in the person. So therefore, whenever any allergic reaction is there in a person, and the indicated homeopathic remedy based on the totality of symptoms fails to give any sort of relief to the patient. So in such instances, a good try is to try isopathy. That is what, in such cases, the same chemical or drugs administered after potentization is known to cure the person. So whatever chemical or whatever drugs the patient is allergic to, the same can be potentized and it can be given to the patient. For example, say the patient is allergic to dust. When the patient starts dusting the house, the patient gets violent sneezing. Okay, so you have treated the patient by giving the constitutional medicine, by giving many acute medicines, and still the patient hasn't improved. Or the patient is not improving in spite of your best efforts. So in such instances, use the isopathic method, in which the remedy known as house dust mite can be administered to the patient. So this is isopathy. Now let's see the use of nosodes. So when are nosodes given? As I told you, nosodes can be given as an anti-miasmatic remedy when the case has been blocked, provided you have excluded the exciting cause, the precipitating cause, and the maintaining cause, and only the fundamental cause is remaining, which is to be tackled. In addition to that, nosodes can also be used as constitutional medicine. So not necessarily nosodes are always used to remove the block. Nosode itself can be used as a constitutional medicine, like medorinum, carcinosin, and so forth. When used, the well-selected remedy, used when the well-selected remedies do not act. Or sometimes a nosode can also be given when the indicated medicine doesn't act, or the patient has never been well since. So the patient will tell you, I have never been well, or I have never been well since I have got pneumonia, since I have got typhoid, since I have got tuberculosis. Okay, so this also is another indication of nosode. Generally, they're given in high potency and they're not frequently repeated. Sometimes it can be solely indicated on ill health dated from smallpox, measles, or influenza. For example, ill health from smallpox, variolinum can be given. Ill health from measles, morbillinum can be given. And ill health from influenza, influenzinum can be also administered. So this is about the administration of nosodes in the second prescription. Now, use of miasmatic remedies. It is used on the basis of miasm present in the case. So as the word suggests, miasmatic remedies, it has to be used according to the miasm of the case. If administered, it will clean up the case or it will remove the obstacle to cure. So as you all know, even Dr. Hahnemann, in his initial days of practice, he has cured the patient But again, the patients came up to him with the same complaints. And after studying the case, many cases thoroughly, he came to a conclusion that the miasms were responsible for the reoccurrence. So therefore, whatever remedies he had proved, he had then grouped them into their miasmatic groups. So he had written down the symptoms of SORA, symptoms of psychosis, and symptoms of syphilis. And then he saw in each of these groups which were the maximum symptoms. So suppose in the group SORA has the maximum symptoms, he considered this as an antisoric remedy. So he says that whenever the miasm is present in the case, you have to give a remedy which covers the miasm in order to obtain complete cure. So therefore, the importance of dominant and fundamental miasm is very, very important. So fundamental miasm is obtained from the predisposition of the patient, that is the family history supported by the past history of the patient. Fundamental miasm is mostly inherited, and whatever miasmatic load is there from the family, that is taken into consideration. And the dominant miasm is taken from the chief complaints or the presenting complaints of the patient. So whatever symptoms are there, according to the dominant miasm, the remedy has to be given. Now, indications of use of placebo. So, a placebo is the one which is given to gratify the desire of the patient, and it is of a non-medicinal substance. So, placebo is very important in homeopathic practice. So, let us see first what are the various forms of placebo. So, we can give placebo in the form of sugar of milk, or cane sugar, or even globules, tablets, biscuits, and cones. So the most common things used in practice are sugar of milk and the globules. However, if you want to give tablets, cones, or biscuits also, you can also use that. There is no problem. So now let us see what are the indications for the use of placebo. So if you're a novice in homeopathy or you've just passed out, then it may be difficult for you to at once find out the correct medicine. So in such indications, or rather in such situation, you have to give a placebo and you solve the case, you repertorize it, and call the patient after 4 days or 7 days and then give the medicine. Or even in an experienced homeopathic physician, at times when a complicated case comes, again it becomes difficult to decipher the remedy. So in such instances, again give a placebo, study the case, and then give the correct medicine. So basically, when you're not sure what remedy is to be given, please give a placebo. Because Dr. Kent has already said that if you give the wrong medicine in a high potency, it will cause great harm to the patient because it is dynamized and it acts deep into the economy, and it is worse than giving even allopathic medication. So therefore, when you are unable to decipher the remedy, please give a placebo, study the case, be sure, and then give the remedy. Or if a new case has come and you are suspecting a pathology in some part of the body, say for example, you are suspecting COX or pneumonia in a case, and you do not want to immediately give the remedy, but you want to confirm the diagnosis. So in such instances, you have to do some investigations. So when you tell the patient to do the investigations, at that period of time, just give a placebo, let the investigations come back, you confirm your diagnosis, and then give the remedy. Okay? So therefore, whenever some investigations are required, especially when the case is a new case, it has come to you for the first time, then in such instances, you have to give a placebo. Or the case is quite complicating, or it's a complex case, and which requires repertorial analysis. And at that point in time, maybe you do not have the repertory, or maybe you do not want to repertorize it in front of the patient because it may cause a bad impression. So give a placebo, call the patient after 2 days, repertorize the case completely, study it completely, and then find out the correct medicine. So during that phase, you can give a placebo. Or when you're not sure of the correct remedy. But suppose you've taken the case and you're not sure whether I can give remedy A or remedy B. So again, you have to study the case, give a placebo for some days and call the patient back and then give the correct medicine. Or you have given the medicine according to the totality of symptoms and there is an homeopathic aggravation. So sometimes, which is of a rare instance, but this point has to be mentioned out here, is when the homeopathic aggravation is quite severe. So when the homeopathic aggravation is quite severe, that time also you have to give a placebo. Or even if it's not severe also, that time also you have to give a placebo. And even in menstrual complaints, when one dose of controlled remedy is given. So in the menstrual complaints are there, and you have given the constitutional medicine before the menses, then you have to give a placebo, let the action of the medicine unfold itself, and then only repeat it next time if the indications of repetition are there. So that is all, folks. Second prescription has been completed in 2 parts. So please, if you like my video, please do subscribe, share, comment, and please do share my channel or tell people about my channel to different students from different colleges so that they all can be benefited with the simplified lectures of organo. Thank you very much.